Welcome to my NFL Week 1 rundown with your host. I guess it's going to be me because I got nobody else. Uh, yeah, really fun Week 1. It's the best part of the year because there's overreactions everywhere because 32 NFL team fan bases have been talking crap for at least the past 4 months, and 16 of them lost, so they're angry, and the other 16 are happy because they're surprised. Let's get things started off with the Ravens and the Chiefs. And first things first, for the Ravens, Derrick Henry needs to come back to the Titans. No reason. This game was kind of sloppy at times. The Ravens did drive the ball right down the field. Derrick Henry got a touchdown. Chiefs answered right back. There were a lot of really bad illegal formation calls, which happens, I guess. It did feel like it wasn't really balanced, but at the same time, Chiefs did end up winning because the Ravens could not capitalize at the very end of the game. Isaiah Likely had a phenomenal game. Really, really, really looked good. There was a pass that Lamar rolled out right. Could not find anybody. Chucked that thing up in the air. Likely grabbed it and did his best juke man impersonation and ran that ball to the house for a touchdown. But the Chiefs ended up winning that game. I don't remember the final score off the top of my head. I believe it was like 27-21. It was pretty close, though. The next game was in Brazil. Packers and the Eagles. This game was also very sloppy at times. Interceptions galore. Fumbles galore. Really bad field surface. Jordan Reed had a humongous game, though. One rushing, one passing touchdown. Same with Saquon Barkley, actually. Welcome to the Eagles, why don't you? Later on in the game, unfortunately, Jordan Love went down. So right now the Packers quarterback room is kind of looking like a dumpster fire. And speaking of a dumpster fire, let's talk about the Panthers and the Saints. The Saints absolutely dominated the Panthers. I believe the final score ended up being like 41-10. One of the first plays, Bryce Young throws an interception, and Derek Carr responds back with a huge 70-plus yard touchdown. Shaheed, I believe that's his last name. But yeah, no, the Panthers are in a big, big trouble right now. The reason why I didn't really go into the other four teams is because I expect them to be good. Panthers, I've been saying it may be a 7-win team at most. Right now, that is not looking good. Especially with Derek Brown getting hurt, and he's possibly out for the season. Hopefully he's not, because he's a great player, and I would love to see the Panthers actually win a couple games. Because I don't want them to walk away with Quinn Ewers, because we're going to get to that. The Saints, obviously a really dominant offensive showing. They did their thing. They got out of there. They got the win. Next up, let's talk about the Vikings and Giants because there's another dumpster fire coming, and his name is Daniel Jones. He was really, really bad. He threw 2 picks, not a single touchdown. The Giants ended up only scoring 6 points, while Sam Darnold looked like an absolute beast against them. I know Van Ginkel did get a pick 6, so that was pretty cool for him. But Justin Jefferson did his thing. Sam Darnold did his thing. Addison, Hawkinson. That offense is freaking loaded. So Sam Darnold just has to be good, and they can end up going pretty far in the NFC North, especially with the Packers banged up right now. Still going to have a tough problem with the Lions. Lions are a really good football team. But for right now, Packers are doing better than the Titans. Titans and the Bears. We talked about this a little bit the other day. So far, I've already stated everything that I have wanted to say about the Will Levis situation. But my hope is that he's doing good because he is a young quarterback, and unfortunately he did just make a dumb mistake. And like it was said on a show, I forgot which one it was the other day, is that unfortunately that play was made without really an upside whatsoever. But otherwise, Titans did a great job shutting Caleb down. I think the Bears' offense has a lot of potential. It just depends on their offensive line. Their defense is obviously incredible. Their secondary is good. Their linebacker crew is good. Their line is going to be really good. So, unfortunate loss, but for now, it happens. You get over it. The next game that I really got to dive into was the Patriots and the Bengals. The Bengals looked rough, but that's because Joe Burrow just does not know what winning on week 1 feels like. He just doesn't know what it is. And Mike Gesicki apparently doesn't know how to hold on to a touchdown in the end zone. This was the most shocking one of the week for me, other than a few scores later on. But Yeah, no, Joe just doesn't know what it's like to win on week one. I know. I did hear that he may be sick and Jamar had food poisoning or something completely like that. I don't completely know. Other than that, Patriots won the game. Shout out to them. What can you do? Let's dive into Raiders and Chargers real quick because I'm gonna forget if I don't. This game was a smash mouth style offense from the Chargers, which we knew Jim Harbaugh would be bringing to the NFL. Justin Herbert did his thing. J.K. Dobbins absolutely did his thing. Raiders still look like they have a little issues on offense, but I think they'll get that figured out. I don't think that's a huge slam dunk and that they're just completely out of it. Another game, really quick. Let's talk about the Buccaneers. They played the Commanders at home, and they kind of mollywopped them. They mollywopped them like the Saints did to the Panthers, but the Commanders could actually score. Jaden Daniels looked pretty good. Looked a lot better than Bryce Young, not gonna lie. He ran in a touchdown. I know Brian Robinson got a touchdown. Buccaneers, Baker Mayfield looked like an absolute unit. Killed it on the offensive side. Mike Evans got a touchdown. I think he might end up with two, but I'll forget if I don't bring it up. Buccaneers, I expect them to be good. I expected them to be second in the NFC South, but that might not be the case anymore because the Steelers played the Falcons. And the Steelers, their defense, we already know it's going to be good. The Falcons, they didn't do a lot great on offense. Steelers did a really good at just managing time and managing the ball because Justin Fields was starting. He didn't have a god-awful game, but I don't think he really impressed too much. The Falcons, we still expect them to be good. Unfortunately, it happens. Week one, it does just happen. Maybe you just don't have your chemistry yet together. Kirk Cousins didn't play a lot in the preseason, if at all, if I remember correctly. But he has some weapons on that team. He's got Drake London. He's got Kyle Pitts. He's got Bijan Robinson. He's got talent everywhere. And the defensive side of the ball is loaded as well. Grady Jarrett, Matthew Judon, Jesse Bates. They're going to be completely fine. The Steelers, on the other hand, you can expect them to compete in the AFC North because really the AFC North it's kind of wide open right now. And speaking of the AFC North, let's go to Cowboys and the Browns. I don't know why I did that with my finger, but you know what? We're going to keep with it. Cowboys absolutely throttled the Browns because the Browns suck on offense. No Nick Chubb. They'd use Jerome Ford. Deshaun Watson. Only thing he can throw himself out of is a hotel room. And what I really thought is just Dak did look really impressive, even though he didn't play a lot in the preseason, if at all again. He did just get himself a $60 million contract. CeeDee Lamb is a very, very talented receiver. He did his thing. We already know it. Really, this was a defensive game, but unfortunately it was defensive for only one team. Because, the Browns couldn't really do anything. Deshaun really looked rough at times. The Cowboys defense looked phenomenal at times. We know their secondary should be really good. We know Michael Parsons should be really good. Really great start to the year for them. Not enough good things to say about them. I think I don't have a lot of good things to say about are Broncos and the Seahawks right now. Broncos, Bo Nix made his first career start. It's alright. He's going to be alright. It didn't look good. It really didn't. You can honestly say all the rookie quarterbacks didn't really look that great this week. But, Bo had a pretty rough start. Seattle, I expect their defense to be good. I don't know if they'll do that much in the NFC West, just because it is pretty loaded. I expect the Rams to compete. I expect the 49ers to compete, and the Cardinals should be a lot better this year. But, hey, it's a good start for Seattle. They looked really good. They looked really strong at times. And the Broncos really just could not do a lot on offense. They did end up scoring about 20 points, though. Wasn't completely lopsided. So I guess that's probably the best thing about it. Let's go over to Arizona and the Bills before I forget about that. Josh Allen doing his thing. Josh Allen is a dog. We know he's a dog. What more can you really say? Passing, rushing. He just does it all. The Cardinals looked really good. They look like they could be a really good team this year. Um, Shout out to them for sure. I think I expect them to be better. I don't know how many wins I expect them to get, but at the same time, yeah, we know they're going to be good. Probably a 7-win team possibly. But hey, even could be less than that. But right now they are rebuilding. They got Marvin Harrison Jr. They got Kyler Murray. They got James Conner. Yeah, there's a lot of room to grow, and I don't let me forget about Trey McBride. That's messed up. Um, but while I cut to that, I'm gonna cut to the AFC South again because the Texans played the Colts, and Anthony Richardson, he had some bombs in that game. He looks really, really, really solid. Um, Obviously the Texans did walk away with the win, but I think you have a lot to look forward to with Richardson. He threw some deep bombs to Alec Pierce, and I already forgot the other guy's name, but it was a really good throw. They really, I kind of expect the Texans to be really good, but the Colts, I was kind of surprised with how they would look week one. They came out firing, and they came out doing their thing. Yeah, no, that was a impressive week one for them. And speaking of AFC South, don't let me forget, we do got the Jaguars and the Dolphins. Tua turned the ball over. Did not turn the ball over. Not so. Not at all. Unfortunately, something happened before the game with Tyreek Hill. I don't know enough about it, so I'm not going to speak on it. But Tua did hit him for about an 80-yard pass. And Jacksonville, unfortunately, they were like a forced fumble away from winning that game. But it ended up coming down to a kick at the very end of the game. And, of course, the Dolphins did hit it. The Jaguars start off 0-1. You expect them to be okay, but, who knows, really. And now, one of the main events, we had the Rams and the Lions. This game was boring at times, but it was exciting towards the end. Jameson Williams absolutely tore the field up. Of course, Cooper Kupp looked like the Cooper Kupp of old. He was catching everything. I don't like that he looks that good. But at the same time, it's probably a good thing because Puka is going to be out for a few weeks, from what I understand. And that's not a very good sign for the Rams. If you have him on your fantasy league, I'm sorry to hear about it. But yeah, Waymo looked really, really good for the Lions. Amon-Ra St. Brown really didn't get into the action a lot. David Montgomery obviously got the game-winning touchdown. I believe he had 2 touchdowns on the night. And Jahmyr Gibbs, he still looks really solid. Sam Laporta still looks like he could be something. Unfortunately, it didn't look like either of these teams were really offensively in sync that great, just week one. But you take the good with the bad. The Lions walk away with the win. Rams looks pretty solid. Just hopefully they can keep that going on the defensive side of the ball, especially with Aaron Donald being retired now. Now, the last game, the New York Jets versus the San Francisco 49ers. At least Rodgers lasted more than 4 plays. Because San Francisco just kind of dominated them. Even without Christian McCaffrey, they said, hold my beer. They kind of did it. They did the thing. And I don't like it. All right, but it's week one, right? So we can't overreact too much, even though that a lot of people are going to. Boy, do they look good. Brandon Ayuk did catch a pass in the end, or didn't catch a pass in the end zone. He dropped it. And I know it got a lot of ridicule from Peyton Manning, but it's the good with the bad. Crap happens. I understand that, he missed training camp and all that kind of stuff. Man wanted to get paid. Kind of hard to hate on it. Rodgers, he did have a really, really solid drive, though. It was at the beginning of the game. I think Breece Hall fumbled the ball, and then Rodgers drove right down the field, hitting Garrett Wilson over and over and over again. Spamming Garrett Wilson like it was the spin button from the Ohio State running back on NCAA 25. Yeah, Jets are going to be good. Probably. I just hope they're not good after this week, because they do play the Titans. Overall, this was a pretty solid week of football. I'm pretty happy to see that football's back. Unfortunately, the Titans kind of suck. If you ask anybody on the internet, they kind of suck. But at the same time, what can we do, right? We're back. We're ready. Let's get this thing going. It's Super Bowl season for one team. The other 31s are going to leave angry. But that is all for me for now. I appreciate you. Thank you. Have a great day.